I'm here live, you cannot deny, at the wonderful Yahshua's temple. I haven't been here ever since I was a child, but still, to see this place still standing and demanding, it makes me smile for a little while. I love this style. Because for the Supreme Elohim, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yeshua's knowledge, if you take advantage of it, you won't have to go to college. It's that indescribable feeling, that indescribable healing, that brings me nothing but chilling. It's the way I get it.
Welcome to the Yahweh and Yeshua Speak television show. We are in part 2 of the children of Israel's heritage is to sound the shofar. The children of Israel's heritage, which is us, is to sound the shofar. We saw in part 1 that Yahweh commanded the shofar to be sounded in the heavens. So the Malachim blow the shofars throughout the heavens. We saw that Yahweh introduced himself to our forefathers, the children of Israel, by sounding the shofar. You can read that in Exodus, the 19th chapter. We see that Yahshua will reintroduce himself when he comes to earth the second time by sounding the shofar. You can go to Matthew 24 and read that. We saw that Yahshua's voice sounds like a shofar. And there's 2 words that we looked at in the Hebrew, shofar and shafar. And we're not going to go back over those. You can get the DVD or you can watch CAN TV when it comes on, and then you'll see what the 2 words are. But Yahshua's voice sounds like a shofar. We saw that in Revelation, the 4th chapter. And we see that Yahweh commanded our forefathers, the children of Israel, to make things on earth according to his patterns in heaven. So he has certain role models and things that he has set up in heaven or Shemayim, and he told us to make things on earth identical to those patterns. We see that sounding the shofar is one of Yahweh's holy patterns in heaven that he commanded to be done in the earth. Let's start out in Psalms, the 16th chapter. Psalms, the 16th chapter. So for people that might not have understood the importance of the shofar, this is one of those revelation knowledge lessons, one of the lessons from Yahweh's throne to bring us all to the knowledge of what he has commanded to be done in the earth. And then that lets people know we are his peculiar people, unique people, unlike anybody that's on the face of the earth. All right, and we're peculiar enough and unique enough to make people stop, look, and listen. What's the reason? Not so they can notice me, but so they can notice Yahweh and Yahshua in me and in you. Psalm 16 and verse 6. Sounding the shofar is one of Yahweh's holy patterns that he commanded to be done in the earth like it is in heaven. Psalm 16 and verse 6. Let's read, please.
Psalm 16 and verse 6. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage.
So he said, the lines are fallen unto me. It's talking about the very elect, the children of Israel, unto you, spiritual Israel, in pleasant places. This is not something unpleasant that Yahweh told us to do, to make things on earth after a pattern that he has in Shemayim. He said, yea, yes, I have a goodly heritage. This is our heritage. That's what the title of the lesson is. The children of Israel's heritage is to sound the shofar. And being in this world where we were stripped of everything because of our forefathers' disobedience, some of us don't understand what a heritage is or an inheritance is. Our fathers, some of our fathers leave here and don't leave us with nothing. All right? Like in the South Carolina, they had a saying, not a pot to do something in or a window to throw it out. All right? They leave you with nothing. And that's just a reflection of the fact that they've been cut off from Yahweh. But we have a goodly heritage. We're supposed to understand now we have a goodly heritage. We've been given something. We're owners now. We're no longer renters.
Hallelujah.
All right? So the English word goodly is the primitive Hebrew root word shafar. Found their Blue Letter Bible number 8231. Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon defines goodly as to polish, to be bright, to be beautiful, to please. And the notion of being bright is applied to the brilliancy of sound from the Showphar or the Showphar. It means to make goodly sounds or anointed sounds.
Yeah.
Praise the mighty Yah. Let's go to Revelation, the 5th chapter. Well, actually, we want to go to Numbers, the 10th chapter first. So sounding the shofar, going to Numbers 10, is commanded by Yahweh, just like the wearing of fringes on the borders of the children of Israel's garment is. He said, do this forever.
Yes.
This is how people recognize who you are. Numbers 10. Some people think if I'm in captivity, I'm not supposed to do this, or
So
if this is happening, that I'm, because it's the 21st century, I'm not supposed to. No, Yahweh said forever.
Yes.
So people need to get a dictionary and look up and see what forever means.
I know, right?
Because they think, like they're saying the law is done away and different things. They don't understand. They need to get, even Merriam-Webster will tell you forever means that you always do it.
Right.
All right? So sounding the shofar is commanded just like wearing fringes on the borders of the children of Israel's garments
Yes, it is.
Numbers 10, let's read verse 8.
Hallelujah.
Numbers chapter 10 and verse 8. And the sons of Aharon, the priests, shall blow with the trumpets, and they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generation.
Now, as Yahshua ban Yisrael says in the Ruach, what about forever you don't get? What about reading this word? What's going on with your mind?
Right?
It says, and Haban of Aharon the Kahena shall sound the shofar. They shall be to you for a law. That ordinance means law, statute, commandment. Forever. Not temporarily, throughout your generation.
Right.
But hey, I'm part of a generation of Yisrael. All right?
We are.
And you Hebrews are too.
Yes.
So what about forever don't you get?
I know, right?
Now, people say, well, I might not be of the Levitical priesthood. Yahshua came and made you part of the priesthood when you came and repented and got baptized.
Right.
Let's go to Revelation, the 1st chapter. So the children of Israel who have converted spiritually are now the children of Israel's priesthood.
Hallelujah.
So forget about Aaron, forget about all that.
I know, right?
He's telling you forever. He said do the same thing that Aharon's priesthood did. Revelation, the 1st chapter, and we want to read verses 5 and 6.
Hallelujah.
Some people may say, well, you know, I'm not a priesthood now.
I know, right?
Well, you're calling Yahshua and Yahweh a liar, and I'm not joining you.
I know, right?
I know they always tell the truth. I know you can lie.
Right.
I know you can misunderstand.
Yep.
I know you can think you know some stuff and you don't know it. I know you can look at what Yahweh put in the book, and then you come and you say the opposite.
I know, right?
So I'm siding with Yahweh.
The best side.
Always will. Revelation 1, and let's read verses 5 and 6.
Revelations chapter 1. Revelations chapter 1, verse 5. And from Yeshua Mashiach, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood. Verse 6. And hath made us kings and priests unto Elohim and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Now, so you may call him JESUS,
Right.
but when you went in that water, you were supposed to have been coming up under the blood, no matter what you call Yahweh's son.
Right.
It says, and from Yahshua Mashiach, Yahshua the Messiah, Yahshua the Savior, Yahshua the Anointed One, who is the Immunite witness, and from the first begotten of the dead, or Hamud, and the Nasi of the Melech of the Arid. We are the kings of the earth. And again, as the Ruach says through Yahshua ban Yisrael, when you're talking about the man, you're talking about the woman and the children. All of that is within the man.
That's it.
Forget all this women's lib stuff where you got to, say you mentioned the weather. I was watching the Weather Channel and they were talking about, they had some complaints from Gentile women, no doubt.
Huh.
Talking about how they named tornadoes and hurricanes after women.
All right.
So then, 20, 30 years ago, then they started sharing it, naming them after men.
Yeah.
You know, who said to name those stuff? That dumb stuff.
I know, right?
Right? Name some tragedy stuff. But it says, he's the prince of the kings of the earth.
Yes.
Who are the kings of the earth?
We
Yahshua
are.
just told us. Yahweh just told
We
us.
are.
Now you're a liar if you don't believe that.
I know, right?
Straight up. Because
You don't
Yahweh
believe
doesn't
in
lie.
Messiah.
He said, he's the prince of the kings of the earth. Unto him that love us, and that includes me. Now, if you don't think he loves you, then you stay out there.
I know,
you be
right?
with the atheists, you be with the agnostics, you be with all the fools that's going to the lake of fire. And washed up from our sins in his own blood.
Yes,
now,
he
when
did.
you're talking about blood,
Yep.
whether you talking about JESUS or
I know,
Yahshua
right?
or Yahshua, whatever you call him, you talking about some blood now, you talking about the Son that
Yes.
came as your Savior. Then it says in verse 6, he has already.
Yep.
If you went in that water and you've been baptized. Now what you come believing after that, the water is not the end of your journey. The water is just the beginning.
That's it.
What you're supposed to come up out of the water now is you're supposed to eat some spiritual food.
That's it.
And find out who you are, find out what you have,
Y'all
find
right,
out
tell us again.
what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And if you come up out of that water and don't go in this word and read, you'll never know. You can end up in the lake of fire.
That's it.
He's already made us. That's
Yes, he
past tense. And if you weren't paying attention when you were in grade school, you need to go pay attention now.
I know,
that's
right?
a verb and that's in the past.
Yep.
All right? That's after you came out of the water. You already been made kings and priests unto Elohim and his Father.
Yes.
Guess what? That's calling Yahshua Elohim.
I know, right?
Then it says the Father. So what people going to do with that? When in the Ibryi, they think Elohim is talking about Yahweh, the Father. Here's two of them right here.
Right.
Elohim and his Father.
His
It's talking about the one that gave his blood. All right? It says to him be kabod, glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Yeah.
Let's go to Revelation, the 5th chapter.
Hallelujah.
So he
Praise
told us to
God.
sound the shofar. This is part of our heritage.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to stand up and be anything now but what Yahweh is showing me that I am.
Hallelujah.
If that's offensive to anybody, then they don't
So
understand, and they still need to get in here and get some knowledge from
That's
Yahweh
it.
about who He told them that they are. If they're Yisrael,
Right.
if they converted, then they still need to go in here and
That's
get
it.
some knowledge about
That's
who they
it.
are. Revelation 5. I was just as backwards
I know, right?
before I came to Yahweh, before
That's
I started
right.
believing what He tells me. It's a shame to read the Bible and then not believe what it says.
I know.
That's pitiful right there in front of your eyes. All right, Revelation 5, and let's read verses 8 to 9.
Hallelujah.
Revelations chapter 5 and verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
Praise Yahweh.
Verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to Elohim by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Now this is
Yes.
talking about the Messiah again, now Mashiach.
Yeah.
And it says, after he gave his life, then he told Miriam, don't touch me. I got to go to the Father to be accepted. It's the
Right.
same thing it talks about in Daniel, in the Ibryi, the Old Testament. It says, when he had taken the book, read up above if you need to find out who it was. It's talking about Yahshua the Lamb. He said he took the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. So you got As Yasser Ban Yisrael saying people don't want shaka, worship, serve, bow down before
Right.
Yahshua. Here's the lamb. And guess what? The 24 elders
I know.
sitting around Yahweh's throne with their gold crowns fell down. Matter of fact, they threw the crowns off their head and fell down.
Praise to mighty Yah.
Okay, and the question is, how dumb is that?
I know.
How arrogant is that? Man with his little pea brain
I
mind
know.
gonna look here and say, oh, that don't look. It says, they fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers, the Palal,
Yes.
the Tiflah, the Kadashim. They're not throwing down no raggedy prayers now, because
Nope.
if your prayers are not right, they're not in that vial. But if when they're right up there. All right? And it says, and they sung a new song. And they were singing to Yahshua, you're worthy to take the book. Because Yachanan was crying before Yahshua came. Like, hey,
Right.
who can open the book?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's no hope. And then they let him know, oh yeah, there's hope.
Right.
Yahshua can take it.
Yes.
All right? They sang to Yahshua, you're worthy to take the book, to open the seals, for you were slain or killed, you have redeemed us
Yes.
to Elohim by your blood out of every kindred, tongue, people, and nation. So whoever accepts his
That's
sacrifice,
it.
they have been redeemed.
Yes.
All right? Verse 10.
Verse 10. And has made us unto our Elohim kings and
Yes.
we shall reign on the earth.
Yes.
Now, you know, now, it was the 24 elders and the 4 beasts that were doing this, that were saying this. Now, they were speaking it for themselves, and they were speaking it for the Kadashim that had prayers in that vase that he had. He said, he made us, Yahshua made us unto our Elohim kings and priests.
Right.
And we shall reign on the earth. So you see that Revelation, Yahweh said the elders and the 4 beasts were saying that.
Right.
They've been made kings and priests too, and they're talking for us.
Yep.
And we shall reign on the earth. So don't let anybody tell you you're not a king and you're not a priest.
I know,
And
right?
don't let them tell you because you're a woman. It's talking about just like Adam, he included Kawa in that.
Right.
She just hadn't been pulled forth, but she's included.
Yes.
She wasn't left out. Go to Psalms 98. So the priesthood, the Gehenna, obeyed the commandment to sound the shofar. They obey it.
Oh yeah. So
They're not trying to stick it with, oh yes, that's what he saw.
I know, right?
No. They got in here and they read the book and they see that it's their heritage.
Right.
And Esau tried to steal it.
Yes, that's the
Then
only
he'll
thing.
come to you and try to tell you this is how you blow the
I
shofar.
know, right?
No, you put it up to your lips and then you say, Abba Yahweh, show me how to blow
That's
this.
it.
Then you keep practicing.
Yes.
You keep practicing. You keep practicing till
Yes.
you get better. And even after that, you don't stop.
Nope.
Because if you stop doing it, it's a spiritual thing, then you're going to get raggedy again.
Yep. Y'all
Whatever you
right,
don't
Ron. Tell it
practice,
like it is.
whatever you don't practice, even in the natural world,
That's right.
you forget, you get bad at it. You don't get better at it.
Nope.
And this is, it's heightened with spiritual things.
Yes, it
you
is.
get worse at it.
Yes, it is.
Psalms 98. And you should be glad if somebody pulls
Yes.
your coattail and tell you, look here, you know what? Something's happening. I think
Right.
you need to practice that a little bit more.
Right.
Have you stopped practicing that?
Right.
Just like keeping the holy days. Have you stopped putting Yahweh first?
Yeah.
That's
And stop
important.
reading these words.
Right. Psalms 98 and verse 6. So we
Hallelujah.
obey Yahweh's commandment to sound the shofar. Why? Because we are the priesthood
Yes, we
in
are.
this generation. 98 and 6.
Psalms chapter 98, verse 6. With trumpets and sound of cornet, make a joyful noise before Yahweh the King.
Yes.
Now, he said, this is something anointed. This is not just somebody getting up here and blowing the shofar
Right.
so they can, let me show people how to do that.
Right.
No, this is something anointed.
Yes, it is.
This is something you're doing to Yahweh.
Kadesh.
It doesn't matter if the people like how it sounds, because people will come and tell you, well, see, now this is how you're
I
supposed
know,
to.
right?
Go and blow it to yourself
Right.
and stop trying to tell Yahweh's people how to do what Yahweh shows them
I
how to
know,
do.
right?
He said, with shofar and with the sound of the cornet, and that's a Yahbel, make a joyful noise before Yahweh the King. That's what it's for. It's not to be comparing how, oh, this one.
I know, right?
It's not for that.
No, it's not. Y'all right, bro.
But if you're still in the practice stage, then go practice.
That's it.
We don't want to make Yahweh's people think that, oh, well, that's how it's supposed to sound. No, you work at it and you'll get better at it. All right, Psalms 150. And Yahweh takes us through phases where people are learning. Then you give them the same opportunity that you got to learn.
Right?
And you don't just be snipping them up like they're supposed to get it on the first try, because you didn't get it on the first try.
Right.
And if you say you did, you're lying.
Tell it like it is. Right?
You're a big liar. Psalms 150 and verse 3.
Hallelujah.
Psalms chapter 150 and verse 3. Praise him with the sound of the trumpet. Praise him with the psaltery and harp.
So now I can use the shofar to praise Yahweh.
Yep.
That's what I'm supposed to be using it for.
That's what it's for.
I'm not supposed to be using it so I can get up and show you how much better I can blow the shofar for me.
Huh?
When all of us get up there and blow the shofar, we're supposed to be doing it because we're calling the people's attention
That's it.
to what Yahweh has to say.
Yes.
We're letting them know now it's time for Yahweh.
I know.
That's why we don't let the children be twisting around in the chair and doing all this other stuff. They got the playground to do that. It's not going to kill them to sit for an hour to get a word,
right?
or to sit for 2 hours. Matter of fact, it's going to make them better.
Yes, it will. Yes, it
See,
has.
this is how we were raised in Atik Yowm. That's classic old school. You got some people now, they're soft. They
Right.
don't understand how to raise their children with discipline. They think, oh, it's going to hurt them. Well, you know what? They need to stay up till 12 o'clock midnight. They're only 3 years old. What they going to experience when they later in life?
Huh?
Nothing. What's the joy of being an adult? Nothing. Because you don't let them stay up to 12 o'clock midnight, and they looking at you like they're zombies, like they don't know what they... Somebody ought to have some sense, right?
That's right.
Somebody get in here and listen to what Yahweh's telling them. As a matter of fact, I was working with a nurse years ago, and Yahweh had me search it out. She said, staying up late stunts your growth. There's something to genes, but staying up late stunts your growth. It makes you short. But Yahweh said, praise him with the sound of the shofar.
Yep.
Go to Psalms 81. So that's what you lift the shofar up for.
Yep.
And whether the people like it or not, I remember years ago I sang a song, and I might have shared it with you before. And afterwards the sister, oh yeah, that song was just, you sang it so good. And I sang it a couple of weeks later and she didn't say anything. Well, that was Yahweh teaching me.
Right.
Don't be listening to what people say.
Don't be expecting
That was early in my walk. Yahweh was teaching me. He was weaning me from that.
Right.
It's like, because my flesh was expecting her to say,
I know, right?
You know, I just really got it, and she didn't say nothing. Okay. I got it, Father. Sing it to you. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it, man.
Praise Yahweh.
Psalms 81 and verse 3, please.
Hallelujah.
Psalms chapter 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day.
Oh, watch
Yes.
out. Yahweh not only said sound it, he said blow it up.
Yeah.
Blow up the shofar. Blow it louder, blow it longer.
Right? I know,
Hey,
right?
in the new moon, in the time appointed, and our solemn feast Yom. So we're supposed to blow it every weekly Shabbat.
Right. A time
So
appointed.
everybody tell you, well, you're supposed to blow the shofar on the night part of the Shabbat. What have you read out of Genesis? Again, the question is, what Bible are people reading?
No, right? What? I know. Sad.
But he said, blow up the shofar in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
That's right.
Let's go to 1 Chronicles, 15th chapter. 1 Chronicles, this is our heritage, people.
Yes, it is.
This is our heritage,
What a wonderful
beloved.
heritage.
This is our heritage, beloved of Yahweh.
I know. What an honor.
The devil tried his best to strip you of it.
Yep,
But
yep.
now clothe yourself with the garments of righteousness.
Yes.
Clothe yourself with everything Yahweh said you're supposed to be clothed with.
Hallelujah.
We're in a country where they believe in stripping down. They
Right.
believe in the less you wear, the better. They strip their head.
Yeah.
They strip their clothes. They'll walk down the street in a two-piece bathing suit
Right,
like they're
right.
at the beach. That's devilish. That's indecent.
Yes. Y'all right. Tell like
They'll let
that.
you see every bulge and
I know,
everything in their body by wearing these stretch pants and
I
put a
know,
little short
right.
top on. That's devilish. That's indecent.
Yes.
That's not for us.
Yahweh.
That's not for us.
No, it's
Yahweh
not.
said, clothe yourself
Yes,
with
he
the
did.
garments of righteousness. Like, when you going to find out? And the Sodomites come out with a new style, and then you got people just run. They got to run by new shoes. They got to run by a new hat. They got to cut their hair a different way.
Right.
They got to run by new clothes. That's stupid. You're just throwing money away. First
Right.
Chronicles 15, verse 28.
Hallelujah.
First Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 28. Thus all Yisrael brought up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh with shouting and with the sound of the cornet and with trumpets and with cymbals, making a noise with psalteries and harps.
Yes.
Now, a natural mind would say, yeah, you know, Israel was throwing a party.
I know, right?
This was a party for Yahweh
Yep.
to honor him so he wouldn't strike them dead because they were bringing up the ark.
Right.
They were showing respect to Yahweh
Yep.
and respect to the fact that he called them and he appointed them to do this, show
I know,
him respect. If nobody else in the world shows Yahweh respect, I should do it and you should do
All right.
it because you're
Yes.
claiming to be his people.
That's it.
But you can say anything with your mouth.
Right. It is
But
written.
when it comes to what he said to do, assemble on these feast days, assemble on the weekly Shabbat, and you're not doing it, then again, we're praying for you to get with it.
Right.
Yahweh is not changing. This is everlasting, eternal things he's showing us how to do.
Yes.
So we can live in the kingdom and not be ignorant. There won't be no ignorant, outcast people.
Oh, no.
There won't be no rebellious people in the
None.
kingdom. There won't be no people in the kingdom that don't know how to act, don't know how to love, don't know how
Right.
to let Yahweh teach them and Yahshua teach them how to
Right.
do things. None of those people will be in the kingdom.
It is
If you
written.
didn't know that, you know it now.
That's it. You've been Zahar.
Now you can believe it or not believe it, that's your choice.
That's it.
He said,
You will.
thus all Yisrael,
Uh-huh.
the nation now, these are our forefathers.
Right.
They brought up the ark of the Berit of Yahweh with shouting and with the sound of the Yabel and with the Showphar, with cymbals, making a noise with psalteries and harps, praising Yahweh
Right.
that he was helping him to bring that ark up in the right way.
Right.
Because it's holy. And that's why we don't let, children come in here, they want to play with a Bible, whatever. It's like, you better go home and play
Right.
with your own book. You understand? And sometimes people think we're being harsh. No, we're just teaching them how to respect what's
That's
Yahweh.
right.
And some people want to come and sit up in here in this chair, like, get up out of this chair. I tell them in a minute. Now, if the adults look at me strange, then they just have to look at me strange.
Hallelujah.
Like, they better go home and sit in their chair. I love them, but you better go home and sit in your chair.
Right.
Don't be, All right? And that they love that. That's good for them. Let's go to Joel, the 2nd chapter. So you see they used a bunch of instruments
Right.
to praise Yahweh and
Right.
to glorify him.
Right.
Joel, the 2nd chapter. But it is our heritage to sound the shofar. And then I was just thinking the people are blessed. We're connected right now to this beauty shop, and they get blessed every Shabbat because every yearly Shabbat and every weekly Shabbat, night and day, because they hear that shofar, that
Praise
sound,
the mighty
that
Yahweh.
sound, and Yahweh's using that sound because the sound is to draw the people's attention to
Right.
you as Yahweh's servant in the earth.
Yes.
Then the next thing you're going to say is not, oh, I'm this. No, you're going to say, look, Yahweh
Right.
is my Father.
Right.
Yahshua, I'm saved by his blood. Come and find out how you can meet the maker and
Right.
creator of the universe. It's not going to be me telling them who I am.
I know, right?
And this is where our temple is at, but this is where the other temples are at.
Yeah.
All right, Joel 2, verse 1.
Hallelujah.
Joel 2, chapter 2 and verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
So things will not always be like they are now.
I know,
Just
right?
nice, smooth. No, he's saying there's a day of Yahweh coming. And Yahweh calls it his day of vengeance on the people in the earth that are not serving him, that are choosing not to. He said, sound the shofar in Zion. Make sure my people understand. Because he said the first ones that's going to get their head busted is Yisrael, that's half slacking and half stepping and not doing what they know I told them to do.
Right.
He said that's where judgment is starting first.
Yep.
He said, I'm going to whoop them first.
Right.
And he said, woe to those that knew and didn't do. They're going to get more stripes than the people that didn't know and didn't do. Because when you know what's right and don't do it, again, Yahweh, he is merciful. I'm glad he's merciful, but they're going to get whooped first.
Yep.
He said, blow that shofar in Zion, sound an alarm in my Kadash mountain. All the temples throughout the world that Yahweh set up are his Kadash mountain.
Yep.
But there will come a Kadash mountain after Yahshua comes back.
Yes.
All right, for the second time. Then he said, let the people of the land tremble. He said the devil trembles, but he won't serve him. You got some fools out there that will tremble.
I know, right?
But won't serve Yahweh. But don't you be one of them.
Never
Don't you be one of them.
Never again.
He said, that day of Yahweh is near at hand.
Yes,
You can
it
tell
is.
because men
Yes,
are
it
marrying
is.
men, women are marrying
I
women,
know, right?
and they're on TV kissing each other, and they think you think it's supposed to be all right
I know, right?
because there's been laws passed. You understand? And when you stand up and you call them sodomite, you don't call them gay,
Yeah.
then they think something's wrong with you. No, keep your mind straight now. Let Yahweh keep your attitude
Hallelujah.
straight. Let him keep it righteous. You love people,
Right.
but you don't love the sin.
That's it.
You love people, but you're not going to pretend like it's Yahweh said it's all right just because the law was passed.
It's not.
Somebody's got to tell them so they don't go to the lake of fire
Hallelujah.
from their own lust. All right, skip down to verse 15.
Verse 15. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify the fast, call a solemn assembly.
Says, sound the shofar again among his people. And it says, sanctify a fast. Now we just went through this Yom Kippur yearly fast.
Right.
And there's some people be moaning and groaning, as Yasser said, about that one day a year. But Yahweh's going to have us do a lesson on fasting, and Yahweh's people lead a fasted life.
Yep.
In other words, we can't go in the grocery store and just grab any meat that's in the counter. We can't go in the grocery store and just grab anything that's on the shelf. I had somebody a couple of months ago tell me, yeah, now I have to go in the grocery store and read. I said, welcome to my club.
I know, right?
Yahweh's club.
Right?
We have to read.
Yes, we do.
Unless you want to be eating some garbage. Unless you want to be walking around here crippled and
Y'all right.
sickly.
So the hams can
Why? Because of what you've been eating.
I know, right?
The world taught us to eat out of lust, whatever tastes good. So, but we lead a fasted life.
Yes, we do. Hallelujah, Yahweh.
And he said, call a solemn assembly. People that are serious about Yahweh.
Right.
And we have fun, but
Yes, we do.
all the time it's like they had the saying years ago, you play too much. Stop playing when it comes to Yahweh.
I know.
Play out there, you understand, in the world and joke around with them. Let's go to Zechariah, the 9th chapter. Yeah, I know he called us the children of Israel, but hey, even natural children grow up.
I know, right?
So then obviously spiritual children are supposed to grow up.
You must.
Doesn't mean you don't, have fun and be merry and have jokes and all that stuff, but there comes a time when look, you play too much. Zechariah 9 and verse 14.
Hallelujah.
Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 14. And Yahweh shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And Yahweh Elohim shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south.
Say what?
Yeah.
Yahweh Elohim blows the shofar?
Yes.
And then somebody gonna say, well, you know, doing it. What's he doing it for? For an example, for us to know what to do.
Yeah.
It says, it's talking about Yahshua coming back. He's going to be seen over them.
Right.
He's not coming back as that meek humble lamb. He's coming back as Melech of Melech. He's coming with a rod of iron. He's coming to put some hurt on people that don't want to obey.
Yep.
He said, and his arrows shall go forth as lightning. And Yahweh Elohim shall sound the shofar, and shall go with the whirlwinds of the south. So he's getting people's attention.
Right.
That's why when he's coming back, it says the sky is going to roll back like a scroll.
Right.
See, with people, you have to get their attention, because you get to talking to people, and they'll cut you off in the middle of the sentence. That let you know they're not even listening.
I know.
They're so busy trying to get in what they want to say.
Right.
Now, some of it is due to the fact that they're around people who run their mouths so much that they won't let them talk. You understand? But Yahweh makes us into listeners.
Yes.
And you got to understand when you're a good listener. But at the same time, you have to help people get trained too. So they don't always be jumping in to cut you off. All right? So when you're a good listener, then Yahweh helps other people learn how to listen to other people.
Right.
But you have to keep people's attention.
Yep.
And Yahweh said one way to do it is to sound that shofar. Yahshua going to sound it. And every eye, he said, going to be looking up like, what is that? So you know, if this little shofar, we can sound that, you know good and well. And we had used, the Ruach had brought that example about these warning systems that they have in the earth, to where you hear, and then you know, like, okay, what's up, what's going on? And last weekend, I was gonna go do something about 7 o'clock, and then I was watching TV, and then on the TV flashed, emergency warning system, emergency, it just interrupted the program. So that made me think, that's what the shofar is for. That's what it's sounding throughout the earth and throughout the heaven for. And Yahweh gave us a brilliant example. Again, last night, on the night part of the Shabbat, I had given you that true factual account of when Noam Parak was a little baby. When Micaiah would sound the shofar, she would start crying. And we had a sweet little baby girl here last night. And Ra'ah Narafaban Yisrael sounded the shofar, and she just busted out crying. Why? Because she was around Yahweh's throne. She understands, like, whoa, all right, Father, what do you want us to do now? How do you want us to be?
Praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah. So he gave that second witness last night. Praise Yahweh, because she hadn't been tainted by the world yet.
Praise Yahweh.
All right, so let's go to Judges, the 3rd chapter. So the children of Israel understand they are to sound the shofar. They not only understand it, they sound it. Judges 3. The children of Israel's judges that Yahweh set up sounded the shofar in the earth. That's what we're here for, to sound the shofar in the earth. And the shofar can be done in a number of ways.
Yes, it can.
But the physical is that taking that physical shofar. But speaking Yahweh's words is another way. Again, you have to get people's attention first. Judges 3, let's start at verse 26.
Hallelujah.
Judges chapter 3 and verse 26. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the quarries, and escaped unto Sitra.
27.
Verse 27. And it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Yisrael went down with him from the mount, and he before them. Now
here's this judge that our ancient forefathers had. And it says in verse 27, it came to pass when he was come that he sounded the shofar. Well, wasn't nobody scratching their head or what's
I
that
know,
about?
right?
They understood, our forefathers understood, but again,
Yep.
we've been stripped.
Yep.
But Yahweh is clothing us back.
Yes, he has.
We're no longer naked,
No, we're not.
ignorant, blind, dumb, and
I know,
wretched.
right?
All right? He sounded the shofar in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Israel, they went down with him from the mount, and he before them. So they understood what that meant.
Right, right.
Verse 28.
Verse 28, and he said unto them, follow after me, for Yahweh hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over.
Hallelujah.
And read down to verse 30.
Verse 29, and they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men,
Huh.
all lusty, and all men of
Wow.
valor, and there escaped not a man. Verse 30, so Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years.
So this man was blowing the shofar to go to battle.
Right.
When we come in here on the Shabbat, we blowing the shofar to go to battle.
Yes, we are.
Why? To get the word into Yahweh's
Yep.
people.
That's it.
To blast all these. There's no evil ruachs in this temple because we
No.
understood how to get them out of here.
Hallelujah.
But whatever people might have picked up out there,
Yeah.
you blow the shofar, it's anointed to
Yeah.
get them in tune to the atmosphere of Shemayim,
Yes.
to the atmosphere of receiving Yahweh's word, being
Yes.
spiritually fed. So he blew the shofar and he said, hey, follow after me.
Uh-huh.
Because Yahweh's delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. So this is how we win. We take what Yahweh has given us and what Yahweh set up.
Right.
The
Put it
pattern
loose.
into heaven.
Yes.
That's right. We can't lose. We
Never.
are not losing. We're always winning.
All
And he
the
talks
time,
about how
no
they
matter what.
killed a Moab, 10,000 men.
I know, right?
He said none of them escaped.
I know.
He said, so Moab was subdued under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest for 80 years. And we are peacemakers, right?
Right.
Akash Shanan just gave us that lesson.
Yes.
We make peace.
Wonderful
So
lesson.
that was nice, 80 years of peace.
I know, right?
All right, let's go to Judges, the 6th chapter. But you see, he used the shofar. So the shofar is not just something pretty. Oh, that's
No,
nice
it's not.
decoration. They got you, no,
There's meaning behind it.
No. You missed the boat totally.
Yup, yup.
Judges, 6th chapter, let's read verse 34.
Hallelujah.
Judges chapter 6 and verse 34. But the Spirit of Yahweh came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezer was gathered after him.
And what happened when the Ruach came upon Gideon? It said, and the Ruach of Yahweh came
know,
upon
right?
Gideon, and he sounded the shofar.
Right, right.
And then this brother started following him. Why? Because Yahweh had something for him to do. Let's
Okay.
go to Judges, the 7th chapter. So as leaders now, when you sound the shofar, understand Yahweh's directing you to do something.
All right.
And don't blow the shofar and stand up scratching your head like, oh, what are we supposed to do now? You shouldn't have sounded the shofar before you understood what Yahweh's telling you to do. Judges 7. And again, it's a learning process.
Yes, it is.
But we must understand we have to learn.
Yeah.
We have to learn. Judges 7, let's start at verse 16, please.
Hallelujah.
Judges chapter 7 and verse 16. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand
Wow.
with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers.
All right, now, here he's got this army of 300 men, and you read in between chapter 6 and this verse in chapter 7, and you'll see that he had a whole bunch of
Right.
men of Israel.
Right.
And then he gave him some criteria. Yahweh said, okay, ask him, if you're scared. He said, okay, send those back home. And he said, okay, if some other criteria.
Right.
You read it yourself on your own time.
Right.
Send those back home. And then the last thing he said, okay, then have the rest of them drink water.
Right.
And then he said, whichever one drank water a certain way, like a
Right,
soldier, they dip in the water and they look at All right? Because they're in enemy territory. They're getting ready to take it over. You didn't just get all down in the road so the enemy can cut your head off. Right? You're a soldier.
Yeah.
All right? And so there were 300 that did it the right way. All right? Like they're in battle.
Right,
And
right.
you're always in battle, whether you're in the temple or wherever.
Yes.
That's why you keep your armor on. All right? So, but it said, he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, so there was 100 in each company, and he put a what? A showphar
All right.
in every man's hand. That's why you see in this European culture, when you watch these little revolutionary pictures,
Yeah.
and they got the little guy blowing with the little trumpet in front.
Yeah.
What do you think they got?
Right.
Your heritage. Your heritage.
Right.
And some people would think, well, wait a minute, they're going to war. What's he putting the shofar in their hand for? So they can blow it. It's part of their victory.
Right.
All right? But every man, there's 300 shofars. Somebody said, well, you got to, somebody was talking before we started. You got too much or you doing too much.
Huh.
They're like, hey, they had 300 shofars. You have some of people say, well, you know, they had too many shofars. They only needed, Yahweh told them how many they needed.
Right.
Each one, they had 300 shofar.
Ah.
All right.
Imagine that.
Let's read verses 17 to 19.
And verse 17, and he said unto them, look on me and do likewise, and behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do.
Okay, let me just say something. So here's Gideon. Yahweh set him up as a leader. He said, look at me and do what I'm doing.
Right.
Don't be veering off. Sometimes you tell Yahweh's people stuff and then they come up like they got a multiple choice. Look, Yahweh told you and me what to tell them to do.
Right.
Now you go on and just do your renegade. Forget all that. Don't be coming back with no multiple choice.
I know,
You understand? But it's a learning process. People have to grow into it.
Yep.
All right? He said, look at me. You do exactly what I'm doing. And said, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that you come to the outside of the camp too. You follow me. Why? Because he's following Yahshua. He's following exactly what Yahweh's telling him to do. Now you just need to grow up to a point where you discern that somebody is following Yahweh. Because people will tell you, follow me and do as I do. They're not following Yahweh. So you have to know that too. That's why you have to grow up.
Right.
All right? All right, let's read 18 to 20, please.
Verse 18, when I blow with a trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. Verse 19, so Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpet and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. Verse 20, and the 3 companies blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers and held the lamps in their left hand and the trumpets in their right hand to blow withal. And they cried, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon.
All right, so it says, Gideon the leader was telling them, okay, when I sound the shofar, everybody's with me, these 100 men with me, then you sound the shofar also on every side of the camp. So all 300 of you join with me. And you say, not the sword of Gideon and Yahweh. Yahweh's never second. He said the sword of Yahweh.
Right.
Then he said Gideon, because that's who I'm following. That's who told me to do this.
Right.
And then Gideon and the 100 men that were with him, they went to the outside of the camp. And then it says they sounded the shofar and they brake the pitchers that were in their hand. Then all of the companies blew the shofar and they brake the pitchers. And they had the shofar in their right hand and they sounded it. And everybody said the sword of Yahweh and Gideon. Can you imagine all our forefathers, men of Israel? You know how their voices be loud.
All right.
Okay? And then the Malachim, Yahweh made it just resound like, whoa! They got a mighty army.
Yeah.
Why? Just the ones that are in here, we sound mighty when we're speaking with the anointing and speaking through Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
All right? But he had to do exactly like Yahweh said, but they sounded the shofar. This is your heritage. Don't let anybody take it away from you again.
Hallelujah.
All right, verse 21 and 22.
Verse 21, and they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the hosts ran and cried and fled. Verse 22, and the 300 blew the trumpet, and Yahweh set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. And the host fled to Bethsheba in Zereth, and to the border of Abel Meholah, unto Tabbath.
All right, it said, every man stood in his place round about the camp, these 300 men, and the enemies ran.
Right.
And they not only ran, they were crying.
I know, right?
They just knew it's certain death. All these soldiers coming in this loud sound. They cried when they ran away. And the 300, they blew the shofar, they sounded the shofar, and Yahweh set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. So they started fighting each other. Not Yahweh's people, not the 300. The enemy started fighting each other. Why? This was Yahweh doing it. We don't have to do this.
Right.
All we have to do is obey Yahweh.
Yep, stand for thus says Yahweh.
And then it said that they ran, the ones that didn't get killed by their own soldiers. All right, verse 23.
Verse 23, and the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites.
All right, so they didn't say, oh, you know what, they didn't kill each other, they got away. They went after them.
Right.
That's what you do with your enemy. That's why, like I said, when this brother go walk down the street and say that, and I immediately send it back to him and cast the devil out.
Right.
Then he gonna come on the other side. Yahweh say, go after him. I reached my hand out and said exactly what Yahweh said.
Right, praise the mighty Yah.
Yeah. He didn't, he across. No.
I know, right? Yeah.
Go over there and get him. There's no distance in the spirit.
No, it's not.
Right. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel 13.
Hallelujah.
1 Samuel 13. So not only did the judges sound the shofar, and the soldiers in the army, the children of Israel's kings, and the generals that were the host of the army sounded the shofar in the earth. We're still supposed to be doing that now.
Yes.
And again, if you didn't know that you think you're at peace, you're actually at war.
Yes, we are.
Spiritually, you're
Yes,
in
we
a
are.
war. You're in a war. Yahweh had me working on a lesson about how people don't realize they're in a foxhole.
I know, right?
And then they poking their head up out of the foxhole, yelling to the enemy, telling them all the plans that Yahweh has told them. How backwards is that? It's just people, again, it's a phase, not realizing, just like little children, it comes to a point where you have to teach them, look, don't be going to school telling what happened in the house.
Right.
I'm going to tan your hide if I hear again that you talking about something that's going on at the house.
Right.
Same with spiritual children. But they're supposed to be covered and covert in a foxhole, and then they'll just raise up and tell the enemy everything is going on at the temple. Why? Because you're spiritually immature. You understand you're in a war. You understand you have enemies.
Yep.
Gideon didn't tell the enemy that they were going to blow the shofar and this is what they're going to do. And he didn't go tell them there's only 300 of them. Why? That's an immature person that doesn't understand they're in warfare.
Yep.
But you're supposed to grow out of that.
That's it.
And it won't be because Yahweh doesn't tell us to push you.
I know, right?
And if you get tired of us pushing you, then I just feel sorry for you because we're doing it in love.
Right.
All right? All right, 1 Samuel 13, and let's read verses 2 to 3.
Hallelujah.
1 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 2. Shaul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Shaul in Mishmash and in Mount Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah of Benjamin. And the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent. Verse 3. And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gibeah, and the Philistines heard of it. And Shaul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, let the Hebrews hear.
That's what Yahweh said too. Let the Ibryi hear. Let my people hear. He says, hear, O Yisrael.
Right.
Hear. I haven't changed. Everything is the same.
Yes, it is.
You just got stripped.
Right.
He said, now come on, clothe yourself back up.
Yes.
He said, Shaul, this is the first natural king of Israel. He had 3,000 men. And then 2,000 of the men were one place, 1,000 were with his son Jonathan. And then verse 3 said, Jonathan smote the Philistines. And then Shaul blew the shofar to get Israel's attention. And the next thing he said, hey, let the Hebrews hear. Let the people of Yahweh hear what Yahweh's telling them. Stand up and represent. That's what he's telling you. Verse 4.
Verse 4, and all Israel heard say that Shaul had smitten the garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also was had in abomination with the Philistines. And the people were called together after Shaul to Gilgal.
And this is when he was in right standing with Yahweh.
Right.
Listening to everything Yahweh said, doing what Yahweh said. And then it said the people, they called together after Shaul. People are looking for leaders in this earth. People are looking for people that are following exactly what Yahweh is telling them to do.
Yes.
Go to 2 Samuel 2. We're going to look at another general that blew the shofar. That was a king of Israel, black king.
Yeah.
And now here's the black general. Like I said, the Gentiles got everything they got
I know,
from
right?
the two black sons of Noah,
Yeah.
Ham and Shem. Even down to the wine tasting.
Yeah.
Yahweh talks about the color of wine and it moves and all that stuff.
Yeah, right,
And then they want to act like they're superior to you and say how this is what the aristocrats do. Nah, this is what Yahweh put in the Bible centuries ago.
Right.
And you just copied it and now you're making it like it's so exclusive.
I know.
Just like you made this old nasty stuff in the sea. Like once you get some money, then you go out and buy this old nasty crab and lobster and stuff. And then this old stinking fish egg.
Y'all right.
And then you got some people that are duped into thinking, okay, well, once I got it made, then I'm
I know, right?
go and it tastes like dirt. And then the people be acting like, yeah, you know, well, you got to get beluga caviar. You got to get, no, it tastes like dirt because it's still fish eggs and you're not supposed to be eating it.
Hallelujah.
All right, 2 Samuel 2, verse 28.
Praise Yahweh.
2 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 28. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they anymore.
So this is a general in our forefathers' army. He sounded the shofar, and Israel stood still. They knew what to do. Wasn't nobody saying, well, Joel, what you blowing the shofar? Again, this before we got stripped.
Right.
This before our forefathers went into rebellion. They stood still and they pursued after Israel no more, and neither fought they anymore. They won the war. Let's go to 1 Kings, the 1st chapter. So the children of Israel's ceremonies sounded the shofar in the earth.
Right.
That's why you see the Gentiles now, anything over in England or wherever they got some ceremony, they're blowing some trumpets or whatever. They got it from Yahweh's people, Yisrael.
Right.
Now the Hamites did a bunch of things, but they didn't. There are certain things that the Gentiles copied directly from Yahweh's people. 1 Kings 1, verse 34.
Hallelujah.
1 Kings 1 and verse 34. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him their king over Israel, and blow ye with the trumpet, and say, Elohim save King
I am here
Shalom.
live, you cannot deny, at the wonderful Yahshua's temple. I haven't been here ever since I was a child, but still, to see this place still standing at the minute, it makes me smile for a little while. I love this style. Because for the supreme Elohim, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yeshua's knowledge, if you take advantage of it, you won't have to go to college. It's that indescribable feeling, that indescribable healing, that brings me nothing but chilling. It's the way I get it.